Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Billy Venturini, of course, of Venturini Motorsports. He'll be driving the number 20 this weekend, the number 20 Toyota this weekend for his team. And, of course, the first time since 2007 that he'll be in an ARCA car. Billy, are you ready for this weekend?
I don't know if I'm ready. No, I can't say I am at all. I'm actually gonna go test tomorrow. First time I'll be in the car in 16, 17 years. So it's a different approach. Like I said, not really the approach I had when I was driving there. It was always about results and trying to do there was like an end game goal, and then when I got out of the car, obviously things have went well with the team and all the stuff we've done here. That this isn't about any of that. This is about going to a racetrack I wanted to go to when I was a kid. They took it off the schedule right when I first started running full time in the series. And it was like I think that's the only regret I have in my whole career. Like the rest of it, I kind of take as, that's just the way the ball bounced and some things worked out and some things didn't. And overall, my racing's been wonderful to my family and to my personal life and to my career. And, it's been a great business for us. But that was the one thing I was like, I never got to run Flat Rock. I always wanted to. And so when the East race popped up there, I had told Drager way before the race was even on the schedule that if it got scheduled, I was going to run it. So this has kind of been talked about since last year, May.
Yeah. So I know that, when I was down in Toledo a few weeks ago, and when Ron first told me, it was like, of course, Ron Drager, the president of ARCA, when he first told me that you were going to be in there, I was like, that's interesting. I didn't believe it at first. And I'm like, you know what? This Flat Rock race is gonna draw, because there was also talk that Andy Hillenberg was actually going to get in one of these things. But what is so special about for you and with Flat Rock? Of course, your dad, his first win was at Flat Rock back in 1983. So what's that going to be like to actually be able to drive on there?
That's what it's about. Like I got to watch my dad race there. I got to watch my dad win there. I got to see some of my childhood heroes race there, like Dave Weltmeyer and Grant Adcox, and of course my dad. And it was just, I thought it was the coolest track. Like remember, like I'd stand on a tire in the center of the racetrack and just kind of spin till you're ready to throw up from following the race cars. Yeah. And it was just cool. I mean, I still could picture Dave Weltmeyer's helmet hanging out the damn window net on the left side, because he always had his head almost like Joe Scherer style. Yeah. And it was just something that I thought was cool. And it's really some of the things that got me wanting to do, gave me the racing bug, got me wanting to do this. And then they took it off the schedule. And really, this was just, I guess maybe this makes me feel a little bit like an old guy, because I did this because, well, I own a whole bunch of race cars and I'm like, I just want to. And it was never like that when in my career. Like it was always like, how are we going to pay for tires? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? How we got to get someone to give us hotel rooms. Well, fortunately for us, our situations changed over those years. Yeah. And I own 34 race cars, and I was like, I want to do this. I'm like, and I just can. And that's how we're doing it, is I'm just like giving one of them, I'm taking that one and we're going racing. And it's just fun. And I'm doing it in part because I guess I can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting down in Flat Rock. Let's talk about your team so far this year. You guys, yeah. It was a stretch for about a pretty good 4 or 5 weeks where it is the extended streak because of course you're for the first time ever you're competing in all 3 platforms.
Yeah, we had a nice little 5-race winning streak. Came to an end on Saturday night at Nashville, but we ran well. Sean ran really well, and that was Gio's first race. He finished 4th, so Sean finished 3rd. We ran the 2nd and 3rd a good portion of the night. We didn't have the race-winning car that night, but the first few races, I think that and Pensacola are the only 2 races that I feel like we haven't been the best car. So I'm really pleased with the performance of the team. I thought we had the best cars at Daytona. Just, sometimes that ball doesn't bounce the way you want, but at Talladega, we got it to bounce the way we wanted. Phoenix, another race. I really thought Jesse was in a good position to win that race. And we might have kind of almost hurt our own self there just a little bit, little team problems there where we kind of got into each other. But you're going to have that when you have two good young kids racing. There's times they're going to get into each other. So just the way the ball bounced that day. But performance on the teams have been excellent. Like I said, I feel like of the 9 races we've run, I feel like 7 of them we've had the fastest car, and to win 5 of those already, I feel really good.
To have Sean run both the East and the West championship, what's that like? Because Sean's been killing it on the West side of things.
Sean's just a terrific little race car driver, man. He's going to be something. We're going to have, he's going to have a long path to get there because he's so raw. Like he hasn't really raced at all. Like he's extremely raw at the racecraft stuff, but he's a quick learner. He's a quick study. He listens really well, and he's talented. So I'm looking forward to him being here for a few years. We'll get him where he needs to be, and hopefully one day we're watching him on Sunday, just like a lot of these guys.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about Jesse Love for a second.
Yeah.
2 wins in a row the last 2 races. We're going to Charlotte, another track he hasn't been to, but it seems like goes to Talladega, he wins. Goes to Kansas, he wins. What is it about him, and what does he kind of learn going to a lot of these tracks that he has not been to because he's just not been old enough?
Well, Jesse's been a real long-term project, and I mean that in a good way. Sometimes you say the word project, it sounds a little cold and callous, but Jesse's been here since he was 15. Love Jesse, spend a ton of time with Jesse. I mean, we have spent countless hours in my office discussing different race scenarios and situations, and honestly, I've been watching him grow up. And really, this whole part from the time he got here, and this is now his 4th season with us, this was all about us having a successful 2023 season. And it sounds crazy, but this is since when he first got in my car in 2020, the plan was how we were going to have that for a few races, feed into more in 21, 22. We were going to do absolutely everything he could run that he was age eligible for. And then in 23, it's all in to win the championship. And so this has been a huge project of 4 years that's been building it up. He's been in the shop all the time. He works his butt off. He's going to be tough to beat. Hopefully we do our job as a team because I really think he'll do his job as a driver because he's prepared for this. He's prepared for this situation. And this is what it looks like when you prepare a driver well.
Have the lineups been completed for the main series and the rest of the card throughout the 3 platforms this year?
Our East and West are set. The Premier Series, there's a couple races that are still a little bit pending, but not much. Like we're pretty set on most everything we're doing this year.
Yeah. Also, I know that of course Shannon Rush is going to be your crew chief on Saturday. Yeah. There's going to be someone on top of a very familiar name is going to be on top of going to be spotting for you. Would that be someone who drives in the Xfinity Series?
And even in Cup right now. So yeah. Brennan Poole's coming to help spot for me. Brennan's another one that I was able to help a bunch in his career, and we spent a lot of time together. And about like Jesse, he was here a long time. We got to have these countless conversations, because really I get these kids when they're so young, like I end up being part of their basically fiber of growing up. So I watch these kids become young men, and the relationships are good, and they stay strong for a long time. Christian Eckes is coming to shake the car down tomorrow at we're going to outside Rockingham to the Little Rock out there. And Christian Eckes, who just won last weekend in truck, he's coming to shake the car down so I can get some brake pressures and some stuff like that. So I have something to reference. Everyone wanted to help. A bunch of my old drivers have called me and wanted to help. Tommy Hessert sent me his Hans device to use for the weekend. Everyone was terrific, man. And it makes me feel good because when I said I was going to do this, everyone was in some way being like, how can I help you now? And that makes you kind of feel good about the work you put in through the years.
Well, what did your dad first feel like when you told him you were going to do this?
My dad would have, and this is no disrespect to any of the other drivers that have been here, or the program, or what we do, or how amazing Toyota has been for us, and how awesome that's been for us to do their driver development program for all these years. But Dad would have rather us stay a mom and pop's team racing like forever. That was his wheelhouse. That's what he really enjoyed. So the rest of this, pretty much everything you've seen since I got out of the race car, that was way more, not even, that was my vision. That was what I wanted to do. Dad pretty much at that point turned over the company and said, you do what you want there. Cause it was not his passion. It was not what he wanted to do. So when I said this, I think he's way more excited about this, I think, than I am, even though I'm looking forward to it, because I'm thinking it's going to be fun. And I'm kind of interested, and I'll have a way better feel for it after I test tomorrow. Because if I'm out there and I'm just awful, I'm going to be like, okay, now I just got to make sure not to embarrass myself. But if I can go out there, and I'm not trying to go there and win the race by any means, but I just want to, if I can race with some of the guys towards the decent cars, that'd be fun. It'd be fun. I might be, honestly, I'll probably, if I could go race with Zachary Tinkle, it'll probably be fun as hell. I think he'd be a great one to race with. He's a character, and he races every week. I did tell someone, I'm like, if I get out there and heads up beat these kids that call themselves professional race car drivers, heads up beat them, not just finish, because you can finish ahead of them, they could have problems. That don't count. But if I go out there and head up beat them, they need to think about changing their job, their career title or something, because I'm a washed up guy who hasn't done this in 17 years. I better not be beating any of these guys that do this for a regular basis.
Yeah. When you look at just racing all three platforms this year, what made you decide to do that this year? Because it's something that you guys have never done.
No, it isn't. Sean Hingarani was a big part of that. They're from the West Coast. They really wanted to run the West Series. I really didn't want to run the West Series, but they were very persuasive, and JD really wanted to do it, which is his father. And he wasn't going to take no for an answer, so I needed to find out how. And luckily we did. I teamed up with Jerry Pitts. It's all he only drives our race cars, and he only works with our people, but Jerry helps maintain the car when it's out there. The car doesn't have to come back and forth between every race. We're going to take our car out there for certain races. Like at Irwindale, that was my truck and trailer was out there with my people, and then it came back. But while we were there, we dropped off a race car, kept that race car there, and he brought it to Kern for us. So that was, and then he'll take that same race car to I think 4 or 5 other races. Right. We're coming back out to do the road courses, because we weren't going to send a road course out there for the whole year, because we need those. A road course car, because we need those the next month for Mid Ohio. So, but Jerry really helped, and after being there, I'll say this about the West Series. It's probably the most fun I've had racing in my entire career. I've never enjoyed anything more than going to race with those people. They are wonderful. Everyone there, the officials are great. The competitors are great. If anyone's out West and isn't running ARCA West, I don't know why not, because it is the most fun thing I've ever done. I love it. So it's a little bit of, it's not exactly geographically easy for us to get there, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, it is. So of course, next couple races coming up for you guys. Of course, this weekend at Flat Rock with you and Sean, and then we're really going to kind of kick into gear with the main series, because we got Charlotte, and then of course Berlin, of course the 2 road course races before Berlin. Next couple tracks, because the main series is about to kind of go on its short track swing a little bit.
Yeah, and we're ready for that, man. We're really looking forward to that.
What about these next few races? What do you want to see really out of this? Because obviously Jesse's running the full season, but you're also going to have a lot of more drivers that are going to be in your cars, and maybe some that might be making their debuts.
Yeah. Let me say, do I have any new ones? Yeah, I will have new ones. I'm trying to look at my roster. We're going to have Isabella Robusto is going to be finally hitting the racetrack, probably at Elko. So that'll be a good race for her. She was supposed to run Nashville, got injured a few weeks prior, had concussion syndromes, and was kind of still dealing with that. That's why Gio Ruggiero got in the car. So she'll be getting in the car. And then everyone else, pretty much everyone else has driven for us. I was just looking at the list. Dean Thompson's going to be back at Charlotte. Gustine will be back at Charlotte. Tony will be there. Jesse. Looking forward to that whole story. And Charlotte's one that's really important for us. I really hope we can win that thing. That was one that we kind of circled at the beginning of the year as would love to win there. So hopefully we can. That'd be a really big one. That's one that we haven't been able to get yet.
All right. Well, Billy, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck in your debut.
Thanks, man.
Or your
return. Yeah, I actually was wondering. I don't know where they actually put a rookie stripe back on you, but I gotta be honest, I don't think they have the balls to put a rookie stripe on me. That seems way too big. Like they might, but I
don't know. That'd be fun to see.
They might just to screw with me. They would do that, but I don't know. It'd take a set. No one would have the balls to actually come and tell me. They'd tell one of my crew guys it had to be on. They wouldn't even tell me that. I know that. All right. Take care, man.